The length of a day on the planets of the solar system. A day on Earth is 24 hours long. Have you ever wondered if setting foot on another planet would this time change? How long is a day in Venus, Mercury, Mars, Saturn? There will be answers under the following video of AllThingsTop. What determines the length of a planet's day? The length of a day of planets depends on two factors: the orbital cycle and the astronomical cycle. The orbital cycle is the period during which one body completes one orbit around another. In astronomy, it may include planets or asteroids orbiting the Sun, satellites orbiting planets, or exoplanets orbiting other stars or binary stars. For celestial bodies, the stellar cycle, astronomical year month, is often considered a real orbital cycle, measured by a 360-degree rotation of the celestial body around the central celestial body, such as the Earth around the Sun, compared to fixed stars on the celestial sphere. Orbital cycles can have many different definitions. The astronomical cycle of a planet can be calculated if its eclipse cycle, the time for it to return to the same position relative to the Sun and Earth. In short, it can be simply understood that the length of the day depends on the distance from the planet to the Sun, the time the planet orbits the Sun, orbital cycle, and the time it orbits itself around the axis, astronomical cycle. In astronomy, cycles can be measured in time units such as hours, days, months, or years. A cycle can also be determined based on specific astronomical conditions, usually due to minor influences from other celestial bodies outside the system. These variations include the actual location of the gravitational center of gravity between two celestial bodies, perturbations from extra-system planets, orbital resonance, relatively broad effects, and many other factors. How long is a day on Earth? The exact astronomical cycle of the Earth is 23 hours 56 minutes 4.1 seconds. So one day on Earth is actually just 0.997 standard days. The length of a day on Earth varies seasonally due to the inclination of the Earth's axis, 23.4 degrees. At the poles, one night can be up to 6 months long in winter, while summer can be only 24 hours long. But experts have predicted that a day on Earth can be as long as 25 hours, but this only happens in about 200 million years. Scientists found that as the Moon moves further away, its gravity changes and acts directly on the Earth. This will slow down the rotation of the blue planet and make the time for a longer day. As the Moon moves away, the Earth is like a figure skater, spinning at a steady pace and slowly slowing down as they stretch out their arms, explains Stephen Myers, professor of geoscience at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Currently, the Moon is about 383,000 kilometers from our planet, and it takes 27.3 days to complete an orbit around the Earth. However, some previous studies have found that the Moon is moving away at a rate of about 3.8 centimeters per year. This means that the Moon will need more time to move around the blue planet. At a certain point, the Moon will keep a stable distance from the Earth, and we can only see it from a certain area. In his research, Professor Myers and colleagues recreated the history of the relationship between the Earth and the Moon. They found that 1.4 billion years ago, a day on Earth lasted only about 18 hours. How long is a day on Mercury? Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, the uncle of the Earth, less than half the diameter of the Earth. Mercury's orbital speed is very fast, a cycle equivalent to 88 days on Earth. But the speed of self-rotation is very slow, a rotation equivalent to 59 days on Earth. The dimension rotates in the same direction as the direction around the Sun, so a day and night on Mercury is much longer than the time of a rotation of Mercury. According to calculations, a day and night on Mercury is 176 days, day and night each session about 88 days. If for Earth, each rotation of Mercury's sun is 1 year of it, 1 day of night on Mercury is its 1 day, then 1 day on Mercury is equivalent to its 2 years. Since a day and night on Mercury is so long, on Mercury watching the Sun seems to stand still. On the other hand, the orbit of Mercury is elliptical. The point is 46 million kilometers from the nearest Sun. The farthest point is 70 million kilometers. Moreover, a daytime of Mercury is just one orbit, so in one daytime of Mercury, the size of the Sun becomes half the difference. How long is a day on Venus? According to the data obtained from the analysis of feedback radio waves, radio echoes, from Venus, scientists have for the first time accurately estimated the length of a day on the planet, supposedly the closest and most Earth-like. Scientists have long understood that among the planets in the solar system, Venus has the longest day. However, previous estimates of a day's length on Venus vary greatly. A day is the period during which a planet completes a rotation around its axis, and a year is the number of days the planet completes a rotation around the Sun. The new study, published in the journal Nature Astronomy, found that Venus completed a rotation around the axis over a period equivalent to 243.0226 days on Earth. This means that on Venus, one day will be longer than 1 year, because the planet completes a round of the Sun for a period equivalent to 225 days on Earth. To get the results of this study, the scientists made 21 launches of radio waves towards Venus from 2006 to 2020, thanks to the Goldstone antenna system of the U.S. Aerospace Agency, NASA, located in the Mojave Desert, California, and studied radio echoes from Venus to better understand the features of this planet. How long is a day on Mars? A day on Mars is quite similar to a day on Earth. Basically, Mars takes 24 hours, 37 minutes, 22 seconds to complete the astronomical cycle, equivalent to 1.025957 Earth days. The seasonal day length of Mars is also quite similar to Earth due to its 25.19° tilt axis. The day is longer in summer and shorter in winter. Meanwhile, the orbital cycle of Mars is quite slower than Earth. It takes up to 687 days to complete a rotation. 1 year on Mars is equivalent to nearly 2 years on Earth. How long is a day on Jupiter? Since Jupiter is a gas planet, it does not rotate like a solid sphere. Jupiter's equator rotates slightly faster than its polar regions at a speed of 28,273 miles per hour, about 43,000 kilometers per hour. Jupiter's day varies from 9:56 p.m. around the poles to 9:50 p.m. near the equator, equivalent to 1/3 of Earth's day. The Sun's active cycle repeats about 10,476 times a year on Jupiter. How long is a day on Saturn? As a gas planet, Saturn does not have a solid surface or a definite milestone for tracking rotation, and even exists a special form of magnetic field that hides the speed of rotation of the planet, making it difficult for scientists. Saturn's special magnetic field and unlimited surface have long hindered scientists on determining the speed of rotation of the planet. However, thanks to the data of the Cassini spacecraft on the mission to study Saturn, they have now solved the mystery. Based on the orbit of the spacecraft around Saturn, the device examined an unknown ice composition. Mankiewicz graduate students in astronomy and astrophysics used data from the spacecraft to study the wavelength inside the belt. The study found that the rings respond to vibrations inside the planet, similar to seismometers used for earthquakes. The inner part of Saturn shakes at frequencies that cause the planet's gravitational field to fluctuate with. So the researchers traced the movement of the belt to contact the inside of Saturn. By the above method, Mankiewicz measured 1 day on Saturn by 10 hours, 33 minutes, and 38 seconds on Earth, and 1 year on Saturn by 29 years on Earth. The study describes how to develop a model that connects the structure inside Saturn with the waves fluctuating on the belt, thereby tracing the rotation of the planet. Speeds of 10 hours, 33 minutes, 38 seconds faster than estimated in 1981, based on the radio signal of the Voyager spacecraft. 10 hours, 48 minutes. How long is a day on Uranus? As the seventh planet in the solar system, from the Sun, Uranus still hides many secrets that headache researchers. Uranus is located approximately 2.87 billion kilometers from the Sun. Uranus is the most inclined planet in the solar system. The unusual inclination makes the seasonal change of Uranus completely different from the rest of the planets. A season on Uranus lasts an average of 20 years. A day on Uranus is 17 hours long. But a year on this planet can last as long as a lifetime on Earth, 84 years. Uranus orbits the Sun for 84 years on Earth, in which the planet's 2 poles are illuminated for 42 years and then sunk into darkness for 42 years. Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system with a minimum temperature of -224 degrees Celsius. The summer in Uranus lasted 42 years. How long is a day on Neptune? Neptune's astronomical cycle is 6 minutes and 36 seconds, or 0.713 days on Earth. The rotation cycle of the Neptune magnetic field is 16.1 hours, while the rotation cycle of the equatorial region is 18 hours. The polar regions have the fastest rotation cycle, 12 hours. In addition, due to Neptune's 28.32 degrees tilt axis, the climate on Neptune has a subspecies. The season on Neptune is 40 years long on Earth. 1 year on Neptune is 164 years on Earth. The distance from Neptune to the Sun is more than 45 billion kilometers. We cannot observe Neptune with the naked eye from Earth.